Hello, welcome to another video where I'm rambling on my bike. I wanted to talk about brakeless cycling. How does it work? What are the risks of it? What does it mean in terms of how you will ride differently? Everything like that. So, got a car here. So, for those of you who already know what fixed gear is, this video won't have much use to you. You'll probably already know all this. But I do get a lot of comments asking where my brake levers are on my handlebars. There's nothing on these handlebars. And they want to know how it works, if it's dangerous, stuff like that. So this is a track bike, meaning that it's meant to be ridden on a velodrome, which is a circular track for racing. And those bikes don't have brakes because you don't need them when you're going in a circle like that for weight savings and aerodynamics and stuff like that. And they have fixed gears. And I'm sure somebody knows, but I don't know exactly why they use fixed gears. Maybe just because they don't have brakes, or I know that fixed gear bikes were like the earliest bikes. Maybe just for that reason. But that's besides the point. So yeah, this is a track bike. This is exactly, well, not exactly, but this is like one of those bikes that they would use in Japan for Karen racing, which is a type of track racing. So, well, what does fixed gear mean? So picture yourself riding your bike, and when you stop pedaling, you'll hear a clicking noise, and the cranks will stop moving, your pedals will stop rotating, but the bike will keep going, the rear wheel will keep spinning. So that mechanism that allows that to happen doesn't exist on these bikes. So the easiest way to put it is, if the rear wheel is spinning, then the cranks are spinning at all times. You roll the bike backwards, the cranks are going to spin backwards. You roll the bike forwards, the cranks are going to spin forwards. So you can't stop pedaling. You can't stop pedaling on these bikes. You're always pedaling, no matter what you do. So, what does that mean? That means that you can slow down your bike by putting force against your rotating cranks, because it directly drives the rear wheel. So you slow down the cranks, you slow down the rear wheel. That's why people can ride these bikes outside of a velodrome. So if I wanted to slow down right now, I could just put force against the pedals like this, and I'm almost to a stop. So when I first started riding fixed gear, I had a front brake, and I depended on it a lot. There were times when I would use it but one day I decided to take it off. And when you when you go brakeless, you have to change the way that you ride your bike pretty drastically. Because when I had a front brake, I could stop much quicker. So I could ride much riskier and still get away with it. Because I could stop pretty fast. So when I switched to brakeless, I had to completely change the way I ride my bike. I had to ride slower, much slower at first, and learn to anticipate things as they come, because you can't slow down as quickly, especially when you're not used to it, when you're newer to it. Let's say right now I needed to stop. I'll stop. Now, I would say that if you had brakes, you'd probably be able to stop a little sooner. But I don't know, I have enough power to lock up the rear wheel. I'm sure there's a lot of physics that goes into it, but I can stop pretty much almost as fast as a bike with brakes. Of course, it changes in the circumstances, but so does a bike with brakes. Like if you're going down a hill, it's harder to stop, but in both cases, it's harder to stop. Another thing is when you're going fast. So this is a downhill right here. I'm gonna get going pretty fast. So you don't want to go too fast on the fixed gear, because if you go too fast, your cranks are going to go too fast, depending on your gear ratio, and you could be pretty uncomfortable because your cranks are spinning way faster than you want them to. I'm not going very fast here though. But yeah, so what are the risks of riding brakeless? It's hard to say, because for me, I know it's gonna sound ridiculous, but I think I ride pretty safe. I don't take big risks. So yeah, I don't put myself in situations where I might have to stop on a dime. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit unavoidable. Sometimes you can't tell when something's going to come out in front of you. Yeah, so the question everyone has, why would you want to ride a bike without brakes? And it's really just because it's fun. It's more challenging. There's more things to learn. There's a fun learning curve to it. Figuring out the best ways to slow down your bike. Like, do that, like a little hop. Like, you could just slow down your cranks with your feet. You can put your foot on your back tire and drag against your back tire. You could do that, but do it harder. So you make your back tire lock up, skid. You could lock up your legs and skid, lean forward a little bit, take the weight off your rear wheel. You could do that little hopping thing like this. I do that a lot. You can do it on both sides. And that scrubs your speed pretty well. But yeah, I would always say to anyone who starts with fixed gear, I would always say to run a brake. Of course, at the beginning, run a brake. and ride slowly and try not to use your brake. And slowly you'll build up muscle memory, figure out what you need to do and when. For me, it wasn't that seamless of a transition. I was kind of riding fast with my brake. I tried to not use it, but I ended up just riding kind of the same way, and I would end up using it. But once I took it off, I was really forced to slow down, completely rebuild like my trust in myself and everything. But yeah. And one other thing I want to say, in the fixed gear community, well, maybe not so much in the fixed gear community, but just in the bike community in general, people make it seem like brakeless is really really badass, or like really dangerous, or only for like the most skilled people, or or if you're riding brakeless you have a death wish, all this stuff. I will say it really doesn't live up to the hype of how dangerous it is. It's really not that dangerous. It all depends what you're doing. You could definitely make a brakeless bike dangerous by just being dangerous in general. But yeah, in reality, I think it's a lot easier to stop your bike with no brakes on a fixed gear bike than people make it out to be. And I don't think it's as unattainable as people make it out to be able to ride a brakeless bike. It's really not. It's like anything. You start slow and you build up your comfort level and your understanding. So yeah. So that's why I ride with no brakes. Look at this. It's so simple. It's so beautiful. You can swap out your handlebars. You don't have any of that junk all over your bike. Cables, housings. Your brakes don't work properly. More stuff to go wrong. That's the whole point of a track bike. Just as few things, only the essentials. And nothing more, nothing less. So, hope you learned something or found this interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think. And I want to thank the people who comment and people who watch my videos. It's pretty amazing to see that the same people commenting, knowing that the same people are watching all my videos. It's pretty crazy to me. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.